Okay. I was talking to you about internal conversion. I had emphasized to you how internal conversion was seen experimentally. That is, say, to give you one example, mercury decays into thallium in an excited state by emitting a beta particle, electron, let us say. But then thallium in an excited state can go down to a ground state with the emission of a gamma ray, or with the emission by transferring its energy to an electron inside the atom by knocking off the electrons. So one has experimentally recorded gamma rays of energy 279 keV. This is experimentally recorded. And when one tried to record beta decay of mercury, what is seen is beta decay is continuous. This is the end point energy at some point. And then in between, you find peaks like this. And the peaks can be explained to say that this is because the nucleus, instead of emitting a gamma particle, this is also a possibility. Emitting gamma is one of the possibilities, but sometimes the nucleus could emit internal conversion electrons. So I called them as internal conversion electrons. I showed you how to calculate internal conversion energy. Fine. So then I wanted to tell you the theory of internal conversion. So I explained you what is transition probability, for which I need what is the interaction Hamiltonian. I told you we have some assumptions. Assumption number one is I take the interaction Hamiltonian for internal conversion, that it is Coulomb interaction. I assume that I have Coulomb interaction, which is responsible for making transition in internal conversion. That is, a nucleus, thallium nucleus, which is in an excited state, shares its energy to electron and comes down to a ground state. This interaction of transition from excited state to ground state happens because of electrostatic Coulomb interaction. Okay. So then I will say, to evaluate the transition probability, we assume that because the electron which is emitted, knocked off from the atom, is no more bound to the atom, it is a free electron. I will use what is called as a plane wave function, plane wave approximation, or give a plane wave for the electron which is ejected from the nucleus. Now, I told you my notations now. Notations are, if I write psi A, R I is equal to 1 to Z. There are Z protons inside a nucleus. I write psi A of Ri and psi B of Ri as initial and final nuclear wave functions. I emphasize here, I do not know what is the structure of the nuclear wave function. Till now, I have not solved any theory giving you what is the wave function. How does it look like? Nothing is known. I'm only indicating. I know that nucleus is a quantum system, so there should be wave functions representing any nuclear energy state, which we do not know. We have not calculated. So I will say there are two, psi A, psi B, denote the initial and final nuclear wave functions. Now, Ri here, this denotes nuclear coordinate. And I denote chi A to differentiate electron wave function from the nuclear wave function. My notation is chi A, R, capital R, and chi B, capital R, denote the electron wave functions for the initial K shell electron. I am only going to do K shell conversion. That gives me general idea if it is a L shell or if it is a M shell, whatever. But my theory focuses on only on K shell conversion. So I denote my notation for wave function of the electron. One electron is knocked off. So there is only capital R, one electron wave function coordinate. Ri are number of protons inside a nucleus when a nucleus transfers its energy to the electron. So I have chi A of R and chi B of R denoting electron wave functions. So now chi A of R, initially electron is in the K shell, but when electron is emitted, chi B, final state of the electron is a free particle wave function, or it is a plane wave, is what I have told you. Now, with that, what I know is K shell electron wave function. You have solved quantum mechanics in hydrogen atom problem in quantum mechanics. So you know what is the wave function for the ground state of an electron in a hydrogen-like atom. So I have a nucleus with Z as its proton number or the atomic number. Then I will write what is the electron wave function. I don't know nuclear wave function, but I know what is the electron wave function. Chi A of R is 1 over pi A cube e to the minus capital R by A. So this is what is the wave function of a hydrogen atom. If you take electron, for a hydrogen atom, capital Z is equal to 1. But otherwise, I have these specification for any hydrogen-like atom. So A naught here denotes Bohr radius. Bohr radius is given by h bar squared divided by m into E squared. You might have calculated what is the value of Bohr radius. Now I ask you to again to calculate the value of Bohr radius as an assignment to you. H bar squared divided by m into E squared. So this is what is the, that is, I'm asking you, assignment is to calculate h bar squared divided by m E squared that has unit of length. Find that value that is called as Bohr radius. I want you to know what is Bohr radius. And if you write a that is A naught divided by Z, Z is some atomic number or number of protons in a nucleus. Both have the same symbol. So we use that to find out what is the A value here found in the electron wave function. Now, I have chi B of R, that is to show what is the wave function of an electron when it is ejected after final state. Initially, electron is bound in the nucleus, bound in the atom, and finally, electron is knocked off. So I have a notation for plane wave. Plane wave is given by e to the minus ik dot r divided by root v. Root v corresponds to normalization factor. So what is the transition probability of internal conversion? Transition probability has the same expression. I here stands for internal conversion. It is not the coordinate I that I mentioned. So if you want, you write internal conversion as IC if you want, so that you don't get confused. So TI AB is my notation for writing what is transition probability. What does that give you? It gives you if a nucleus from an excited state A to come down to a ground state B with the emission of an internal conversion electron. What is the transition probability? Probability tells you what percentage. If you have 100 nuclei, how many will emit electrons? That is, how many will throw out an electron and come down from an excited state to ground state. That's what is the idea. So we said Ti of AB is given by, is equal to 2 pi rho by h bar modulus HAB squared d omega, where H is the interaction Hamiltonian, AB is a matrix element of the interaction Hamiltonian. That is what you know. I have written an arrow for a particular reason, which I will tell you in a moment. Now, HAB here denotes matrix element of the Coulomb interaction. Rho d omega is the number of final states per unit energy interval for the electron within the solid angle d omega. These are all details in your time dependent perturbation theory. I'm not going in detail about it. I'm only going to focus on how do we express this without going into too many details of the theory. Now, what is exact expression for total transition probability? T, internal conversion. I stands for internal conversion, AB. We should first integrate over all directions theta phi. Why? Because there is a d omega. I want to know what is the total internal conversion probability over the all the angles. I'm not looking at electrons coming in one particular angle. I want to count every electron coming all over. Then I have to integrate over d omega. That's what is the statement being made. So we have to integrate to find total transition probability. This is the transition probability in a solid angle d omega. Electrons coming in a solid angle d omega. So I want to technically tell you what I mean by saying total and inside the solid angle. Then what I will do now is, we must multiply the resulting expression by 2 because there are 2 electrons in the K shell. What do I mean by that? I don't know. There are, in a K shell, every electron orbit, it has 2 same wave function, but spin part of it is up and down. So there are 2 electrons in a K shell. If you have 2 electrons, do you know which electron is getting emitted? You don't know. So you do have both up and down electrons being counted when you do a experiment. When you have both of them coming in a detector, which you don't know, you have to add it. You have to, in the sense, you have to, like how you integrate over the solid angle, you need to count double. You have to say there are 2 such electrons are being counted. So it may confuse you, but I am telling you what is being done when you do such total transition probability. This is transition probability within d omega. That's why I wrote an arrow. Total transition probability. Here there is no angle. Angle is not there means I have to integrate over it for total transition probability. So I integrate and then I multiply 2 to take care that electron K shell has 2 electrons. Then I obtain TIAB is 2 into 2 pi rho by h bar HAB mod square d omega. I have explained it and I have written equal sign here now. So this is what is called as total transition probability. Then Coulomb interaction between the electron and the nucleus. What is Coulomb interaction? Coulomb interaction H is between 2 electrons. Let us say it is minus E squared divided by R1 minus R2. If it is 2 electrons, but I have a Z number of protons. So I is 1 up to Z, E squared divided by capital R minus Ri modulus. So what is the interaction due to Coulomb interaction? What is the interaction Hamiltonian? So do you agree that this is the interaction Hamiltonian? You won't answer me. First write interaction Hamiltonian for 2 charged particles Q1 and Q2. You will write interaction Hamiltonian is Q1 Q2 divided by modulus of R1 minus R2. That is the interaction potential is what you say. I call it as a Hamiltonian. Interaction energy or Coulomb interaction potential is given by this. So now I have R minus Ri. Each proton has its Coulomb interaction with the electron. So R minus Ri gives you the E squared by R minus Ri is the interaction potential for an electron with 1 proton. I was standing for I here. So I have to add I is equal to 1 up to Z because potential, add all the potentials, that is the total potential, interaction potential. So now, what is the matrix element? If I have to calculate matrix element, What should I do? I will write that HAB is, I will only indicate it to you now. Please pay attention. So I have E squared divided by R minus Ri here. Summation is here. I is equal to 1 up to Z. So I have written the interaction Hamiltonian, and left side I have to have wave function. Which wave function? Psi A and psi B are written. Psi B star of Ri, nuclear wave function, psi A of Ri, they are written. And electron wave function is finally it is e to the I k dot r. I have written a capital K in a different way, and exponential minus capital R by A, that is the electron wave function. So final initial wave function. So initial wave function on one side, HBA means HAB means I have an initial state A. What is the initial state? It is the nuclear state psi A Ri multiplied by electron state in the K shell. Final state is B, which comes here. Exponential Ik dot R is the psi star, chi star. And then I have a psi B star Ri. Then there is 1 over pi A cube square root. That is the wave function. You have to check here what is chi B. I have to substitute. Chi B is 1 over root B. Chi A has a 1 over root pi A cube. And I don't know what is psi A of Ri, psi B of Ri. I don't write it. So I am writing the matrix element explicitly to you, which has this form. What is the integration here? Integration has to be over the new electron wave function and the proton wave functions. D tau stands for d cubed R1, d cubed R2. So many protons are there. I have to integrate over that. So now let us consider there is an expansion for 1 over R minus Ri. So I will use that mathematical expression to simplify this. As I told you, I'm not going to tell you every detail of how to simplify, but some details are important, so I am telling you. So if I have a 1 over capital R minus Ri, I can write it as summation over L is equal to 0 to infinity minus L to plus L is capital M. This is what is called as a expansion. You would have seen it when you are writing Legendre polynomials in your special functions. Go back and check. Do you have something similar? You may not have exactly like this, but this is what you call as a generating function expansion for the Legendre polynomial. I am using special functions to write what is 1 over capital R minus 1 over capital R minus Ri. This is much easier to learn, but right now when you see all special functions staring at you, you will get scared. That's all is the thing. But otherwise, this is a very, very well-known mathematical expression. Capital R minus small ri is there. Then you have to write Ri power L and capital R power L plus 1, where L is a number which is varying from 0 to infinity. M is a number which varies from minus L to plus L. Just that the notation capital L, capital M is there. Don't think that it is a multiple expansion of the electromagnetic field. I'm only writing 1 over capital R minus Ri in terms of a well-known expansion known in special functions. Now, I will say this is the expression if capital R is greater than small r. Now, what is capital R? I want to ask you, what is my notation? I want to assert that you know what stands for capital R. What is it small ri stands for? I want your answer for what do you denote capital R for? Capital R means anything physical to you or no? So I want an answer. If you say no, no problem. If you say I don't know, no problem. But I need an answer. What capital R stands for? I have explained, but if you, I want your answer so that I am sure, making sure that you are with me.
Nuclear radius.
Capital R and small r. I'm not taking what you said, but I'm asking you, if the capital R is nuclear radius, why do I write a vector there? I'm talking about internal conversion. And in internal conversion, I have explained my notations to you. It is not just for you to see, but I ask you a question, you will have to see where we are going about. If you don't understand, you have every right to stop me and ask me. Now, if you don't answer, I will know that you have not heard anything that I told. So I want to know what this capital R vector stands for, what the small r vector stands for.
It's the distance of the electrons from the nucleus.
No. Each one I am talking about. Capital R. I am rounding
Capital.
it. What is that?
It's the distance between. It's the position vector of the electrons with respect to the nucleus.
Fine. No, not with respect to the nucleus. It can be any coordinate system. It's a position vector of the nucleus and small ri. There is no nuclear center for us. So we will take any coordinate system, no problem. So R stands for electron coordinate. Ri, small ri, stand for electron coordinate. If somebody said it's nuclear radius, that was an earlier detail that I gave you in Weisskopf estimates. That's notations have to be understood in a given context. Context was Weisskopf estimates where I used capital R. This class, I am explaining, we can't invent million notations for denoting various things. We have to have only whatever number of letters are there in English alphabet, Greek alphabet, and whatever, Latin, whatever. So I need to preserve the notations for a given context. Today's context is internal conversion, and my notation capital R vector stands for electron coordinate with respect to some origin. Small ri is the coordinates of the protons with respect to some same coordinate system that I have. I told you this is a well-known expansion in special functions. Now I am telling you this holds when capital R is greater than small ri. That's what I said. Now, capital R is the electron coordinate. So the distance from the center O to the electron coordinate is magnitude of R, and small ri is the coordinate for the proton, magnitude of the proton. Which will be larger? Do you say size of the electron is bigger than size of the nucleus? Size of the coordinate of the proton? Proton is inside a nucleus, electron is outside. So if I take somewhere in this nucleus some coordinate point origin, then this capital R is always larger than Ri. So I use equation 4. This expression holds for capital R larger than small r. If small Ri is larger than R, in case if small Ri magnitude is larger than R, then this part here, it should be changed. I have not connected my iScribe today. I couldn't charge it. So this should have been reversed. This expression is a well-known expression for any R1 and any R2. If magnitude of R1 is larger than magnitude of R2, I have to write R2 to the power L and R1 to the power L plus 1. If magnitude of R2 is larger than magnitude of R1, I should write the other way around. That's what I'm emphasizing. Stare at this expression. Even if you don't know the derivation, your mathematical logic should tell you what I should write if capital R is less than Ri. You have to interchange R and Ri because this is a magnitude. It is same for R minus Ri or Ri minus R. So this expression holds then. And what is capital theta, capital phi, and small theta I, phi I? So these are spherical polar coordinates. Capital R is capital R, capital theta, capital phi. This is spherical polar coordinates of an electron, and Ri, theta I, phi I are polar coordinates of the protons that are there. So we now observe that the main contribution for 1 over R minus Ri, there is a series containing L is equal to 0 to infinity, M is minus L to plus L, which comes from special function property. That is, I have an expansion like this. Now I will say we have main contribution comes essentially from R greater than Ri. This is a note. I have put it in a bracket in the integral. So we consider expansion only for capital R greater than Ri. Why am I emphasizing it? I want to tell you that I have an integration here. In this integration, where R, in any integration over R, suppose you take a volume integral R, where to where R integration goes? It is from 0 to infinity. Theta phi integration goes from appropriately 0 to pi, 0 to 2 pi. You know how to write integral over d cubed R. So when I say d cubed R, capital R goes from 0 to infinity. But I will write it as small Ri to the nuclear, electron size R, because otherwise electron wave function will not be there. So I will say capital R is always larger than the size of the nucleus. So because electron is not found inside the nucleus, I will take this integral from Ri, that is size of the nucleus, to end. That is all details. I am trying to tell you, though you need not do it, I will only say we will take R greater than Ri. Contribution is from R greater than Ri in the integral. So we consider expansion 4 for R greater than Ri. That's what I am emphasizing here. Then after I do that, substitute this 4 in equation 3, that is in the integral. Don't do it. I'm only telling you that you have to do it. After you substitute and simplify, I will say substitute and simplify. How to simplify? I will not teach you that. If you simplify, what you obtain is the matrix element HAB, where you have all that 4 pi squared. Where is that? There is a pi a cubed v to the power minus half and all that. I am not going to tell you. There is a 4 pi here in 1 over R minus Ri. All that combined, I will write it as 4 pi squared E divided by pi a cubed v to the power half, and summation L, summation M, I to the L, and whatever is the K to the L minus 2, all that. This you have to remember. You don't simplify, but you will have to write it and memorize, because you're not going to simplify it. If I am given a chance, I will simplify it and remember it. But now I am telling you, you have to remember this. Substitute 4 in 3 and simplify. You're going to get this expression, where capital QLM is nothing but what is the electric quadrupole moment that I have told you. I told you earlier. Again, I am emphasizing, we don't know anything to do with nuclear wave functions. Everything that comes with the nuclear wave function, d tau integration, I have to put it together and call it by some name. That happens to be some known expression, which is nothing but the quadrupole, multipole moment of the nucleus. So I write this together, and I don't know to simplify it, but it is a multipole moment of the nucleus is what I recognize, and I write it here. So HAB, what you write as matrix element, now it doesn't explicitly depend on the nuclear wave functions. Where is nuclear wave function sitting? It is sitting inside this QLM after I integrate over this. This is the quadrupole moment, multipole moment of the nucleus for L and M. And there is other things are known. Do you know what is capital K? Then you have to go back and check where is capital K. Okay, I will again show you what all I have used notations. So do you see a capital K here? Again, I want your interaction because I want to every time make sure that you are with me. What is capital K for today's class? There is a capital K shell, forget. But if I am writing something here, what does capital K stand for?
Wave vector of electron.
Okay. See, you need wave functions for the electron, and there you have several notations, small a, Bohr's radius, and all that. So here capital K stands for the wave vector of the electron. By that I mean a free particle is a wave in quantum mechanics. A free particle wave has a momentum. Momentum is given by h bar into k. K stands for the wave vector. As far our wave notion is concerned, I have a wave vector. Wave vector is momentum value divided by h bar. So that I have denoted by capital K, and that is I have written a curly K to distinguish it. Something I have to write a curly K so that it is different from what I had written for K shell. So this is the capital K here, which comes in your interaction Hamiltonian. I am trying to evaluate what is transition probability. QLM is a known multipole moment expansion. So I try to write what is capital K here. That is capital K vector is magnitude K, and there is a theta and phi. This theta and phi, small theta, small phi, are coordinates of the wave vector of the electron. Electron is coming out and it has capital K wave number, and theta and phi are its directions along which the electron is emitted. What am I going to see finally? With all the details, don't miss the point. An electron is getting ejected and I am going to detect it. Where am I going to detect it? I will detect it in the direction theta and phi with value of the electron momentum given by capital K. So that's what I have. Now I substitute this equation 5 matrix element back into finding my transition probability. I don't give you how I simplify. Substitute this and obtain the expression for transition probability. That's the ultimate thing for us. I write this expression. I don't give you how I got it. Again, check it back. You have transition probability given by HAB mod squared and then integration over d omega. All that has to be done. And you have to substitute what is rho and all that. So after finishing it, mod squared means you will be getting whatever is found in HAB. There is a QLM, YLM, all that gets mod squared. So I simplify everything and finally I obtain QLM mod squared, and this expression you have to remember. There are some expressions which you have to remember whenever there is a question on internal conversion. This is, you have to remember the meaning of it and what you would have expected to learn from it. The details of mathematics is quantum mechanics. You have to learn quantum mechanics to do it, but you have learned it already, is our elective course is highlighting. So after simplifying, I get this is with confidence that you are saying, but it's not so easy to do it. But many people have done it. So believe that they have got this expression. That is equation 7. So in 7, only a few values of L occur because of selection rules is what I am saying. 7 has been obtained. That means I have obtained transition probability for internal conversion in this way. Do I know everything here? I know m stands for mass of the electron, me squared, h bar I know, small a I know, it's Bohr's radius a naught divided by capital Z. Capital K is the wave vector r. It is what is the energy of the electron? It is h bar squared capital K squared divided by 2m. So I know what is capital K. Do I know QLM? This stands for nuclear quadrupole moment, nuclear multipole moment. If I determine it experimentally, I can substitute it here. So I have transition probability. If I know what is the quadrupole moment of the nucleus experimentally, and then I have a electron is ejected, what is its value, etc. I have got it with my known parameters. You have to stare at it several times to see that everything is known to me. With that, I will say summation over L means every value of L has to be taken. Then it is very difficult mathematically. Everything that I do is to simplify my mathematical expression. I am assuring you only a few values of L occur due to the selection rules. That is, nuclear wave function has a angular momentum JA, angular momentum JB. And this L value is restricted not to go from 0 to infinity, but there is L going from JA minus JB to JA plus JB. If it is not so, your internal conversion coefficient will go to 0. TIAB is going to be 0. I didn't highlight it everywhere here. When you write a QLM itself, the QLM is 0 if JA minus JB and JA plus JB obey this rule. That is always there when you have nuclear transitions from JA to JB. This is the rule. So you should always highlight that. So L is restricted to be between JA minus JB to JA plus JB. So you know that it is only some numbers. You don't have to run over L going to 0 to infinity. That is a solace to you. So you should learn knowing we don't have too much of calculations. It's only that much I need to do. So having said that, in practice, only the lowest possible value, JA minus JB, leads to appreciable contribution. This is what is theory of internal conversion. I have given you an expression and you don't know what to do with it right now, but I am telling you, this is very important formula derived for internal conversion transition probability. So here, L is not everything. It's only if you substitute L is equal to modulus JA minus JB, you can remove all this summation here. L is 0 to infinity is gone. You substitute capital L is JA minus JB. Done with it. Because you know certain rules there, which I am not telling you again and again. So L is modulus JA minus JB is some kind of a selection rule which comes, that is dominant. I'm only telling you because I cannot derive everything in this theory. It is too detailed. Now, with this, I will now continue to tell you how does K shell ejection of electron compete with gamma ray. So what am I trying to tell you now? I derived an expression for transition probability. This is an expression. Many things you don't know right now, but remember that you can derive an expression for internal conversion coefficient where you only need to know internal conversion coefficient depends on the multipole moment, electric multipole moments of the nucleus. This is the nuclear part which is coming in the internal conversion. Nucleus is responsible for ejecting an electron out. So this dependence is hidden in the multipole moment QLM mod squared of the nucleus. So there is a method to determine QLM mod squared experimentally also. So I can finally determine what is the transition probability. These are important because we don't know anything about nucleus. keep remembering that we have no idea about a nucleus. At least this will give you how a nucleus leaves its energy to an electron which comes out in the process. That electron which is ejected tells me something about the nuclear interaction, not nuclear interaction, about the nucleus. Fine. So now I will continue to tell you what is electron conversion coefficient, which I defined earlier. To evaluate the K conversion coefficient, I denoted it as alpha K. We have to restrict ourselves to electric type radiative transition for multipolarity. What am I doing now? Please remember in your internal conversion class last time, that is the first class on internal conversion, I had mentioned to you about what is internal conversion. And before I started theory of internal conversion, I had defined what is called as an internal conversion coefficient. This is given by ratio of internal conversion transition probability to gamma decay transition probability. Remember, when you have a two-level nuclear levels, it is possible that you have both internal conversion and gamma decay. That is, here I have written only gamma decay. There is a gamma particle which is coming between nuclear level A to nuclear level B. This is a gamma ray. But you also have a possibility that there is an internal conversion. So you define what is called as an internal conversion coefficient, which tells you how dominating is internal conversion compared to your gamma D. This is what is an internal conversion coefficient, is what I had defined you. Now come back and check how do I take a ratio of internal conversion coefficient, that is how internal conversion transition probability with the other thing. So now I write this QL. What is that I have to write now? You have to remember TIAB. That is fine. What is T gamma AB? You have to recall now. That is why I am saying let us only take electric type radiative transition and internal conversion with same multiple values LM, because JA minus JB gives you the L value for both internal conversion and for gamma decay. I am telling you mathematically what we should do is told in English. To evaluate the K conversion coefficient, we have to write electric type radiative transition. That is my simplification steps written in English. So multipolarity LN and internal conversion with same multiple values L and M. That is alpha K of L is written for internal conversion with some LN and gamma with some LN for electric type is what I declare. I declared it. Now I take the values. Here internal conversion has a capital K, which is wave vector. Gamma decay has a small k, which is the wave vector of the gamma particle. This is wave vector of electron. Small k is wave vector of a gamma decay, gamma radiation. So now I have to take it. See, QLM squared gone. Now you know why I am taking a ratio. What I don't know, I want to kill it off. So mathematically, I define what is called as an internal conversion coefficient to get rid of QLM mod squared. So I don't need to evaluate nuclear multiple moments, but I can only take the ratio and say how much is internal conversion dominant compared to gamma decay. That's what I'm doing. So cancel it and then simplify it. You can simplify it. I will write, this can be simplified by you. I leave it as an assignment to you. Do simplify it. I have given you 2 assignments today to do. So you have to write it and send it to me if you want to learn. So if you don't want to learn, do whatever you like. But this is what is the ratio where I simplify it to obtain 16 L divided by L plus 1, M E square divided by H squared A cube, and capital K to the 2L minus 3 divided by small k power 2L plus 1. That is what is going to give you what is our L alpha K of L. This is what is the simplest final expression for alpha K conversion coefficient. So now substituting h bar squared k squared by 2m. Do you know what is this h bar squared k squared by 2m? H bar squared capital K squared divided by 2m is nothing but what you have as electron energy, kinetic energy of the electron. So that is, I can write this is kinetic energy of the electron, but that is also equal to gamma dk. What is the energy of the gamma particle? So why am I saying that? Again, go back and check what we have written. So what is the problem here? I have two levels. I have to show you the energy level. So then I have to tell you what we have as 1 minute. Just a minute. Okay. So where am I? I am again emphasizing. Remember this picture always. Energy of gamma ray is h bar omega. Okay. Energy of the gamma ray. Suppose you imagine the same picture where A to B transition has happened with the emission of an electron. Then you have written energy of the electron EA minus EB is equal to the energy, binding energy plus whatever is the energy emitted. So we have written already, we have done some calculations to find out what is the energy of the electron, which is knocked off in K conversion. So K conversion, L conversion, etc. EA minus EB is equal to energy of the electron plus binding energy is what I have done. Plus or minus, everything has to be thought. You should think what is the process and how to write it. But binding energy is very, very small compared to what is EA minus EB, energy, nuclear energy difference. So I can remove it. So I can tell you, don't think too many approximations. Remember, I am trying to hit a treasure because I don't know anything about nucleus. Any little way of getting news about the nucleus is my ultimate aim. So I am trying, all this struggle is towards getting some information. So I will say that if I have to take what is h bar squared k squared by 2m, I want to simplify this expression, what I have got, to make sure that I can learn something. So I will write h bar squared k squared by 2m is the kinetic energy of the electron, but that is approximately equal to difference in energy between the energy levels, nuclear energy levels, because nucleus transfers its energy to the electron. Binding energy ignored here. So then EA minus EB also is nothing but the electron gamma decay energy, gamma ray energy, if nucleus has emitted a gamma process, gamma decay. So that means there are two processes happening. One is gamma decay, and sometimes an electron may be knocked out. I am equating h bar squared k squared by 2m with h bar omega, which is h bar c small k, so that I can take the ratio in an appropriate way and simplify equation 8. So then I substitute A is h bar squared by me squared z, and if it is not done on a board, it is your job to simplify it. So when I simplify it, I obtain all this. When I substitute z is there, a cubed is there, I get a z cube, and then I get a e square divided by h bar c whole to the power 4, and l divided by l plus 1 appears. And then this one, when I substitute h bar squared k squared by 2m as equal to h bar into ck, I can simplify it and obtain this kind of a expression. This is still simpler, So now I will make an interpretation of what is the internal conversion that I have obtained. From equation 9, it is seen that the K-shell internal conversion, if you take K-shell internal conversion, it increases strongly with capital Z. If you take two nuclei, one with Z is equal to say something like 50, and the other one with Z is equal to, let us say, 60, you will notice that internal conversion is dominant in Z is equal to 60 nucleus compared to Z is equal to 50. There is a Z cubed factor. So I make a note on that. Internal conversion is dominant when Z is high, or I will say internal conversion increases strongly with Z, and it decreases as transition energy H bar omega increases. If you say H bar omega is, what did I write? Decreases as transition energy H bar omega increases. You have a H bar omega here. If it increases, if the energy level difference between two nuclear energy levels, if that is large, then internal conversion is weaker. It is smaller. So that's what is said in the second statement. So do you know what is 2mc squared? Value. Can you tell me what is 2mc squared? What is small m? You can tell me anything, I will correct you, but you cannot keep quiet. M is mass of something. What is small m here? What is small m here? A is equal to h bar squared by m e squared z. Small m.
Mass of electron.
Okay. So this is only connected with atomic quantity. This is to do with electrons. So 2mc squared. Now can you tell me what is 2mc squared? Value.
1.02
MeV. Thank you. Good. So I have 1.02 MeV. If H bar omega is stronger, then you know that it is very, very small. So you can plot alpha K of L for a given Z value. You know this everything. So you can plot it as a function of different values of L. So this is a number you can compute. You please compute this number for various values of L. You will know what I mean here. Don't do that. Nobody asks you, but it is possible for you to do it. You have finally extracted a tablet-like expression where you see everything clearly and you can make sense out of your derivation, whole long derivation. So internal conversion increases with Z, decreases as transition energy H bar omega increases, because this is a fixed number. If you keep increasing H bar omega, or if the energy difference between the nuclear level increases, then you do have this decreasing. So that's all is the final conclusion. So in other words, internal conversion is an important phenomena. You should give importance to internal conversion in nucleus of high atomic number in low energy transitions. That is, H bar omega is less than 2mc squared. In such cases, internal conversion is dominant compared to gamma decay. That's what is the statement. And one more thing is, of high multipole L, that is, internal conversion grows when the multipole value increases, L is increasing. So the 2mc squared by H bar omega is larger than 1. Power L is there, so it increases. Okay. Don't ask me why you are not counting L divided by L plus 1. Any quantity to the power L is always larger compared to L divided by L plus 1. I only count this. I will talk about something which is like an elephant, not like an ant. So I am only focusing on the power here. So if 2mc squared is much less than, 2mc squared is larger compared to H bar omega, this is smaller. This is larger than 1. 1 larger than 1, let us say 1.2 to the power capital L. For large values of L, this is dominant. That's what is the statement. One sentence statement is to say, internal conversion is an important phenomena in nuclei at high atomic number Z. In low energy transitions, that is h bar omega is much less than 2 mc squared of high multipolar order L. So now you can check the plot, fix L is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. for a given Z value. Take Z fixed. I'm not saying what is Z. So I think Z is 40 here when I draw this. So alpha k as a function of h bar omega by mc squared. What is the unit of h bar omega by mc squared? What is the unit of h bar omega divided by mc squared?
No units.
Okay. It is, I don't write any unit here. I will only say this is given by, say, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I write the alpha k. My plot of alpha k as a function of h bar omega by mc squared is, it gives you something like this. So what does that say? Alpha k is dominant, larger. Let us say alpha k is 1. Say it is when it is for larger value of L, it is higher. Otherwise, it is smaller. As L decreases, it is smaller. And as h bar omega by mc squared is very, very small, it is larger. If it is small, it is larger. As h bar omega by mc squared increases, it reduces. So that you can plot and see yourself, but that's the whole idea about internal conversion. I have one little bit left. I will complete it and stop it as gamma decay part. So what is meant by, what is the whole moral story of internal conversion? Though I gave you details of what is psi A, what is psi B, what is chi A, what is chi B, all that is to derive this expression, which is very, very simple. I can look at this and identify what is the physical thing which is important for me to understand here. So that is what is the main idea. So after I do that, I will go ahead to tell you one more important thing which I had mentioned in my first class on gamma decay. In my first class on gamma decay, I had told you there is something called a 0 to 0 internal, 0 to 0 transition. I had told you there is no monopole field in the radiation field. So radiative transitions or gamma decay from 0 to 0 is strictly forbidden. Then what do you say? Internal K conversion is still possible in this case. That is 0 to 0 K shell internal conversion can be possible. So now I have to evaluate the K shell K conversion for 0 to 0 nuclear transition. I can evaluate it. I want to tell you if it is possible to evaluate. 0 to 0 transition is a highlighting thing because gamma decay doesn't appear. You only have internal conversion or some other process. So in order to identify what is, I cannot take a ratio Ti divided by T gamma because T gamma is 0. I cannot define a ratio when T gamma is 0. So I am focusing on 0 to 0 transitions where only gamma decay is not possible, only internal conversion is possible. How do I evaluate it is the next question. In order to evaluate K conversion for 0 to 0 nuclear transition, we note that contribution for R less than Ri in the evaluation of matrix element is important. If you take R greater than Ri, you can, I don't want to say more about it because it is mathematical detail. I am emphasizing it is a mathematical detail. If you check what is the transition probability here, if you check L is equal to 0 term, Q00 will appear, but Q00 will be 0 if there is nothing that appears. So whatever you have derived, remember you had used capital R is greater than Ri and integrated this expression from starting from R greater than Ri, capital R greater than Ri, because this expression of E squared by capital R minus Ri is given for capital R magnitude is greater than magnitude of Ri. So I want to keep that mathematical part in mind. If I do that, I don't get 0 to 0 transition at all. So I realize that I need to give importance to capital R less than Ri also. What does that mean? I will surely say electron does not exist inside the nucleus, but there is a part of the electron wave function which is found near r is equal to 0 also. You don't say that wave function of the electron is 0 when r is 0. That is, r is coordinate of the electron. So I will say r, consider r less than ri contribution also, and express h is e squared r minus ri for r is less than ri. If I write that, I will get a L is equal to 0 contribution. I am doing 2-3 steps together here. What I need to do is, if I had a word, I would have shown you. But here, what I am supposed to do is, there is an expression. I am explaining mathematics through words. 1 over r minus ri is this. Fine. Now what I should do? Capital R is less than ri. That means instead of ri power L, I get a capital R power L in the numerator. Denominator is small ri to the power L plus 1. That's what I have. Now substitute L is equal to 0 because I'm only interested in 0 to 0 transition when capital L will be 0. If I take that, I will get capital R to the power L will be there. L is 0 means that won't appear. I get 1 over small ri. That's what will stay. L plus 1 is there. That will stay. You have to write it and check it. So I am only writing English. What is the result that I get in 0 to 0 transition? So if I write a 0 to 0 transition, I write 1 over r minus ri in the region r less than ri, that is mathematics. So for L is equal to 0 and r less than ri, we do obtain h is given by e square divided by ri. After the expansion, when I substitute L is equal to 0, I only get this expression. Then I can simplify HAB again, not like earlier. I will get the simplification by everything substituted. I am only going to get some value, which I am not going to explain again. What I obtain is ri squared psi a psi b. This is of the order of magnitude. Ri squared is nuclear coordinate magnitude square. So this is of the order of magnitude of r squared average, that is nuclear radius. This is not electron magnitude. I am using the same. Unfortunately, this stands for average radius of the nucleus here. In the 0 to 0 transitions, because this is psi a to psi b ri squared, it has the magnitude, rough magnitude. It is r squared, capital R squared, that is the nuclear radius whole squared. These things need some insight when I make a estimate. When I do a estimate, this cannot be larger than the nuclear radius squared is what I will say. If I do that, then I will say the internal K conversion probability is given by some value like this. So which I will not be able to explain to you. You have to go back, check and substitute, or remember this expression. That is the good thing. You have non-zero value for T0 to 0. Do I know what is TIAB? I will not be able to know. I will only be able to define ratio. T internal conversion divided by T gamma. But when it comes to 0 to 0 transition, I will obtain explicitly what is T0 to 0 in terms of average nuclear radius squared, and everything else is known to me. Here delta E is given by this binding energy of K shell electron, etc., etc. So we can find it. But one note that you should make is, if it is 0 pi a to 0 pi b, parity considered into account, if pi a into pi b is not equal to +1, that is, if I have 0 plus to 0 plus, fine. 0 minus to 0 minus, fine. If it is 0 plus to 0 minus, internal conversion is also not allowed, is what is the statement. That is what I am emphasizing finally is, you have an internal conversion coefficient that is derived in today's class. And then I am telling you about 0 to 0 transition probability. Under 0 to 0 transition probability, if you consider parity also, mathematics I am not telling you, but under parity, pi a and pi b should be same. Only then internal conversion transition probability is not 0. If you have opposite parities of two energy levels, internal conversion is also not allowed. Nucleus gets frozen in the excited state. It cannot decay by gamma decay. It cannot decay by what is called as a internal conversion. That is the final statement as far as your internal conversion is considered. And internal pair production is a short statement that I have. I will only say transition energy EA minus EB is larger than 2mc squared. You can have a pair creation of the nuclear electron positron pairs that can occur, so that nucleus makes a transition from A to B by emitting a positron electron pair. So in this case, I have an example. We notice that oxygen 16 has EA minus EB given by 6 MeV. So you will learn about oxygen 16 nucleus in 4th semester. Then you remember this value 6 MeV. There are energy levels which have 6 MeV difference. So in that case, you do find a pair production. That is what is seen. You don't have oxygen 16, which is in an excited state. Source is not there in our laboratory, so you cannot find it. But otherwise, this is the value, and you can detect pair production is what is recorded by people. With that, I stop today's class, and that is the end of the story of gamma D. So it may be a little tiring when you only see expressions, but there I hope that the gist of it should be, at least I have conveyed